Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Rebecca Louise of Rebecca Louise Knits and you're watching my RLK podcast. In this podcast I talk about what I've been making for the past few weeks, whether that be knitting, crochet or spinning, and I also talk about the yarns and the fibre that I've been using as well. Now it has been a minute, it's been a really long time, so it's not just a few weeks for this one, I'm actually covering 2 months in this episode. I'm going to be covering everything that I've been making in that time, and I'll be talking about my experience at Woolly Good Gathering, which I was very fortunate enough to take part in as a volunteer, and that took place in Edinburgh last April. But before that, I'm going to give you a little bit of a life update so you can see where I'm at. Due to being away in Edinburgh when I got back, I was very exhausted. So if you don't know, I do live with a chronic condition which comes with a lot of fatigue and yeah, just being totally zapped of energy, and it really took it out of me. So that's something I'm going to try and work on if I travel again this year and then onward. Yeah, it took me a while to get back to my routine, back to my day-to-day tasks, which I have done, and yeah, feeling really good. I got my hair cut again. I'm back to having my pixie, which I'm really enjoying. It feels really great and sort of low maintenance, which is brilliant, especially since here in the UK we are experiencing some very warm weather, and it's made me really excited for summer as well, which I'm so excited about, and I'll be talking about some summer plans later in the video as well. So Edinburgh, oh my gosh, just such a beautiful experience, and I absolutely loved volunteering at the yarn show. I would really encourage anyone out there, if you like going to yarn shows, look into them and like beforehand and see if you can maybe get a role in helping out, because it was just so fulfilling as an experience, and I highly recommend it. So I got to go and I got to meet everybody, and it was just such a wonderful show. A big thank you and congratulations to all the organisers for Woolly Good Gathering, because it was phenomenal and I think everyone had an amazing time. I had a really good time in the city as well. I did go a few extra days so that I could do more in Edinburgh itself, which was great, and I'm really happy I did, because we just had such wonderful weather when we were up there. It was actually sunny in the afternoons, which was just amazing. I absolutely love that. I had prepared for anything because as I know, Scottish weather can be unpredictable, and I have heard a phrase as well about Scottish weather, which is that Scottish weather is never bad, you're just inappropriately dressed. So I absolutely love that, and I did prepare for everything, but actually just ended up wearing the knits that I took with me, and I didn't really need a lot of layers, which was great. So that was really good, and it was a lovely time to go when I went as well. April was particularly beautiful because the cherry blossoms had bloomed, and there are so many cherry blossom trees in Edinburgh. The air was just filled with cherry blossom petals. It was so lovely and nice, and like I said, warm at times, which was also really nice. And I took in a little bit of the city. I did do a tour. I will actually really recommend the tour that I did. I did the Witches Tour, which took place through a lot of the Royal Mile, and it was great. I really loved it. It was really fun. I will recommend them as well. If you're looking to do a tour in Edinburgh, the Witches one is really good. I'm going to link the service that I used down below, and yeah, really fun. On hindsight though, something that I will take into account if I go next year, which I'm really hoping to again, I would love to volunteer again, so I am planning to do that, and something I'm going to take into account is the walking situation that is the city of Edinburgh. So the last time I was there a couple of years ago, I don't remember it being this hilly, but we didn't really do very lot in the city itself. We just did the show and then sort of came home. So this time I really wanted to see a bit more of the city and explore a bit more, which I absolutely did, but I did not know that Edinburgh was built on a hill. And actually, even during the tour on the Witches Tour, I was told that it's actually built on a dormant volcano. which was very interesting and made a lot of sense. Remember the right kind of footwear. Wear good shoes, walking shoes, because it'll help you out if you're ever there. And what I would like to know from the viewership is, what would you recommend, like if you travel a lot, about like preserving energy and restoring energy when you're away? Because I must admit, I really did deal with quite a lot of fatigue and tiredness, and I don't think it hindered my trip. Like, I got to do everything I wanted to do, but it was also difficult at times. And so I would love to know what people do to help themselves with their energy when they like travel or they go away and do events like this as well, because the volunteering was an 8-hour day, which is something that I'm not used to. So I would love a bit of advice if people do this, or generally any advice for going to yarn shows would be amazing as well. So I am going to be including my haul from the show, because I did do shopping, obviously. I volunteered on the Friday, and then I did my shopping on the Saturday, and a few friends from my yarn group came up to meet me, which was amazing on the Saturday. So we got to shop as a group, which is what we usually do when we go to shows. So that was really lovely, and yeah, I just loved the whole experience. I literally could talk all day about how good it was, but I'm not going to. I'm going to crack on the episode. I do have quite a bit to show you from the haul from the yarn show, but I'll be doing that in acquisitions, and I'm actually going to start with my finished objects. So first up I have is quite a few pieces that I finished right before I went away, which I tried because I wanted to wear them, which was terrible. I do not recommend doing a deadline for something like when you're going away. I did actually manage to finish everything. So the first piece I have to show is this. This is the Lilly vest by LesFillesducoeur. I'm so sorry if I'm not pronouncing that name properly. I will link everything below so you have the pages and where to go for things. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Which are French designers, and this is the Lilly vest. It's very, very cute, very little sort of cropped little vest top with buttons, and I'm just going to show you my buttons. I've just used just a normal set of, they're just Millwood's little black buttons, and then I've used the yarn that I've used to place them on, and I tried really hard to use a colour section because this yarn is a beautifully variegated yarn by Zakami. You know, they're my favourite, I always mention them. So Zakami, which I absolutely love. This is the 100% Merino DK non-superwash in the colour Space to Grow, and I actually have a lovely little story to go along with it. So I did manage to get it ready for show, and I actually wore it on my volunteer day, and along with meeting all the organisers for Woolly Good Gathering, I did get to meet Melinda and Gregory, who of course run Zakami, and I actually got to have a word with Melinda, which was really lovely when it got a little bit quieter. I did just mention that I absolutely love her yarns, and my stash is absolutely full of them, and it was just a real pleasure to meet her and to take part in the show. And of course I did say as well, I am actually wearing you, and she even recognised it, which was really lovely. And so that was great, and they were just all so great. I will say again about the organisers, like thanking us throughout the day for coming along and helping out, which was just lovely. And so yeah, but about the vest and the pattern, so I did make a few changes. It's quite interesting what I managed to do with it. So the pattern calls for a DK and a mohair. Now I wanted to use the yarn as it was on its own, because as you can see it's got these really special colours coming through. Trying to get it to focus. There we go. These colours coming through the yarn. Now obviously it didn't come out the way that it appears. I did have to spit splice a lot. I pretty much cut the yarn apart, which sounds crazy, but I did it as I went so it didn't feel as dangerous. That was so I could place the dark colour wherever I wanted, but then if it was getting really plain, I could move up so I'd have a streak of colour, and this is how I got it to repeat itself the way that it did. So this is not how the yarn works up. Obviously I started on the back and then picked up the front, so what was happening was the colour stripes were pooling in one area and it was starting to look a little bit odd and it didn't really make much sense, and so I decided from that point on I'm gonna have to cut and move the colour to where I want it so that it repeats in a more full way, instead of having just colour on one side and then just one side being the black colour. So it was difficult, it was not easy, but I did get through it, and now I'm an expert at spit splicing, because I think when you have to do something 20 to 50 times you get really good at it. So I've learned a new skill, which is great, and it's actually been really handy. I loved having no ends to put in. That was just really crazy at the end of a project. But so that all worked out, but I knew I didn't want to carry a mohair with it from the start, which meant was gauge was totally off, and I did something a little daring considering how much time I had to actually make the piece. And that was, what I did was, I knew I didn't have gauge and I was trying to calculate how much of the gauge I was missing to make the accurate size so that I could wear it. I didn't mind that if it was fitted. The pattern does call for no positive or negative ease at all, so that was kind of helpful because I didn't have to, it was just like a neutral size. And I actually ended up making the largest size in the pattern, and it fits. It does fit. It is on the snug side, which I'm aware of, but I did wear it and I wore it for a whole day and it was great. It was really comfortable. It wasn't too tight or anything like that. It's just on reflection. I think if I was to make it again, which I actually might, because I just love it. It's such a cute pattern and it's a really cute top. And it's one of those great sort of staple pieces where you can wear it on its own or you can layer it over anything, t-shirts or dresses. And so if I was to make it again, I think I'd actually aim to get gauge, hold a mohair or whatever with the DK to try and get the gauge, and so just to sort of do the pattern properly. But yeah, it was really nice. It was very experimental. I sort of loved it. It was kind of cool figuring out my own maths off the template from the pattern, and yeah, really happy with it. But again, it was a risk. It did pay off, but I'm totally aware that that might not be the case every time, so it's just living and learning. That's what we're doing. But yeah, that's my first finished object. Put that over there. Okay, second I have something that I've already shown in my last podcast, which is the Busan. This is my Busan sweater, and I'm definitely not doing it any justice. But she's done, she's finished, and I got to take her to show, which was so much fun. I actually wore her to the social night, which took place on the Friday night, between Friday and Saturday of Woolly Good, and yeah, absolutely loved it. It was amazing. I can't believe I got to wear wool, even though it was quite warm, but it was the evening, so it was cooling off, so I did get to wear it, and yeah, absolutely loved this pattern. I used Gepard Woolia in the colour Charcoal, held with Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the colour Midnight, and I cannot get over this dark grey sort of to black colour. It's really, really gorgeous, and yeah, very, very happy, and I cannot get over that gorgeous cable running down the front. Now, about the pattern, loved the pattern, really well organised and all things like that. The only thing I would like to change is, as you can see, yeah, it does look really short, even looking at it like this. So, I wish I had basically tried it on, well, tried on the sleeve, let's say, to see where the length of the sleeve was landing. Because although it fits great, I absolutely love the shape of the jumper itself. Something that I'd never done before, which was shaping the end of the body before I did the ribbing and cast off, because it creates this lovely sort of swoop around the back, which makes it really baggy in the back, and it's really oversized, and it's got this gorgeous fit. The only trouble is I kind of wish the sleeves were slightly oversized as well, because I did try it on when I was making it and I thought they were fine, but once I'd cast both the sleeves off and I was wearing it and stuff, they're sort of short, especially, you know, when you move about and so your sleeves like ride up slightly, they just look really short, like they're almost cropped, and it's not what I'm sort of going for. It's just such an oversized jumper. You sort of feel like the sleeve should be coming some point over your wrist at least and onto your hand, and so I'm actually thinking I might go back in and make them longer. I do have yarn left over, which is great, so it wouldn't cost me any more money, and I'm just sort of wondering how I'd go about it. So if anyone knows how to adjust a sleeve after it's like finished, I would love to know your ideas and your techniques. I'm thinking what I'll have to do is probably maybe salvage the ribbing, then add length onto the fabric, add length from sort of this area, save the ribbing and put that to the side, carry on the length throughout the fabric here, and then maybe graft the ribbing back on so I don't have to bother like ribbing and then casting off. Like I could save it so that they'd still match and be the same. Yeah, so that's my only thing I have to say about it, that maybe it just needs to go on like the repair pile, well not repair, there's nothing wrong with it, but adjustment pile, so that the sleeves could be that little bit longer, because I think it just looks slightly better on the body, like how it appears. Because yeah, the sleeves look really short, and so it looks a little bit funny, because I don't really mind a crop sleeve. Actually, like a lot of my tops have a crop sleeve, but due to it being so oversized, it doesn't look right that the sleeves are so much shorter. I'm sure this is making sense, and we should just stop saying the same thing, but yeah, that's the only thing about it. Absolutely loved it though, and I really like the pattern, and I can't get over this colour. It's just so lovely. I've even bought a yarn that is really similar to this colour. Okay, so my next finished objects, and something I managed to get done before I left for Edinburgh, are these. These are the Midnight Dancer socks by Sari Nordland, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. There we go. Oh, the colour distribution in this is so pretty. I absolutely love it. This is a very fun yarn that I used for these. These is Zakami Yarn and Tea Club 2024 December's colour, and I'm going to put the colour below, but there's no way I'm trying to pronounce it. It's a very long name of something, and no, there's just no point me trying to say it. And I think it's a Russian winter sort of folklore like tale. It's very interesting. I did read I remember I still have the card I think somewhere, but I'll pop it down below so you can see it. But here they are, 100% llama fingering, that's right. Yeah, but again, details will all be below as well. This was my first time following a sock pattern that wasn't about you making your own adjustments and your own gauge. I'd never actually done it before to make a pair of socks. I've always done sort of tools where it's like work off your measurements and your swatch, but this was an actual pattern. I had to meet gauge and I had to just follow the instructions, and I really like them. Reinforced heel is really great. I absolutely love how that turned out, but my favourite part about them is the ruffle. Now, I highly recommend you try making a ruffle on your socks, because it is absolutely so much fun. When I first cast them on, I was like 200 plus stitches seems really excessive, but I could not believe the effect it had once I started working on the leg and you really saw it take shape. I was like, oh my god, I want to put ruffles on everything. They are so pretty. And so that was a lot of fun, and yeah, I love making socks. I love making socks so much. I want to make so much more. I do sort of like, I've been sort of like, whenever I go to a yarn show lately, I always manage to get at least 2 just sock yarns to make socks. First of all, I'm saying they're going in the sock pile, as in eventually I'll get around to them and I'll match a pattern to the colour that I've bought. Next up, I have, oh, this is really fun. I finished this super quickly. This was a part of DRK Andrew Mowry's spring challenge, which was to make a hat in 5 days. And yes, I'm blanking, sorry. It's the quill hat pattern, that's what it is, and it's very, very fun. It has these lovely ridges which you work up using purl and knit stitches to create a patterned effect, and because of that, it's reversible. So it has this other side which has this totally different kind of pattern, which is really fun, and I really love the idea of playing around with just really basic stitches, but to see what you can come up with. So yeah, I'd seen that they'd announced the challenge and I got the email and it had a discount for the pattern, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to get it. I'm just going to try, and it'd be really nice to see if I could make a hat in 5 days. And because I did basically nothing but the hat, not only did I do it within 5 days, but I actually did it in 3, which made me feel great. I couldn't believe how fast it was. But yeah, very, very fun, and it was just nice and quick. And I realised when I was making this, I have not made a hat in so long. I think it's been over a year, maybe more than that. I really haven't. The hats just aren't something that I've made in a while, so it's really nice to make one. Due to the weather being so warm here in the UK, I don't think it's going to get much wear in the next few weeks, but hopefully when it starts to get a little bit colder, I have a new hat to wear, which I'm really excited about. So the yarn that I used, get it close above the colours because the colours are really, really beautiful. So this is a yarn by Nelly and Eve, which are a beautiful plant-based hand-dyed company, so all the dyeing is natural dyeing processes, which is lovely. And this is the base Dale's 50/50, which is 50% BFL and 50% Marsham, and it is in the colour Wild Meadow, and I held it double to get gauge for the pattern, and I'm just so happy with how the colours came out. It's a really, really beautiful yarn and a lovely one to work with, and I'm hoping it's going to be lovely and warm for when I go on walks when it gets a little bit colder later in the year. That's all of my finished objects, and next I'm going to move on to my works in progress. Okay, so first up I have another DRK pattern by Andrew Mowry. This is the Jaunty. Now, I think I did show this in my last episode, and yeah, not a lot of progress. It's still really little. And the yarn I'm using is by Lottieknits, and it is her little bird sock Marl in the colour Moody Rainbow Part 3. And then when I change to my decreases, I'm going to be changing to Moody Rainbow Part 4, and they're meant to sort of the next stage in the Moody Rainbow sequence that Lottieknits has, which is lovely, and just loving how these colours are coming out in it. This repeat it's gorgeous. So that's my first work in progress, but the next one is the one that's been occupying most of my time lately, so I'll show you this. This is also sort of an acquisition because I bought the yarn for this. Like, technically the yarn is part of my acquisitions, which I'll talk about a little bit later, but here I have, still on the needles, it does not look great, it really needs blocking, but this is the Lulu Slipover by Petiteknit, and I am so nearly finished. The yarn I'm using is Double Sunday by Sandnes Garn in the colour Lime Punch, and I'm absolutely loving this colour. I cannot get over how beautiful it is. This green is just, it's so vibrant and fun, but the merino just gives it that lovely sort of wool soft touch, which is so great. And I'm so nearly finished with the pattern, so I have bound off both the back and the front, and then I've done my collar. This is the only alteration that I've made to the pattern. It does call for a 7cm ribbing to make it sort of like a tall neckline. I've gone for a shorter one. I know for a fact that I won't wear it as much if it has like a really big neckline. I just like things to sit sort of just here, sort of where my vest top's coming to, and so I just know that I'm gonna pick it up more if it's more suited to what I want to wear. And so I just decided to do an inch would be something like 2.5 centimeters of ribbing instead of the full 7 centimeters. But what I did do, which I was happy about, I matched it to the length of the ribbing that's going to be on the armholes. So it's going to be in unison with both the ribbing either side of it. As you can see, this one is still on the needle. I just need to bind that off, and then I can pick up the other side, and then that's what I have to finish off, is just the ribbing on both armholes, and then I just need to do the button band, and that'll be that. I'll be done, it'll be finished, and I can block it. And but yeah, love it. So happy with my shoulder seams, and also my like picking up for my collar. This has to be the neatest picking up of stitches I've ever done in my life. I cannot believe how nice and clean it looks. Very, very happy with this, and I can't wait to wear it, but I think it's going to be a while because there's no time to be wearing wool where I am. It's so warm. So may have to be put away until a colder day comes, but still excited to get it finished. So here it is. I'm using Sandnes Double Sunday in the colour Lime Punch, and the code for that is 128344. And I definitely think I'm going to have some left over. I'll be honest, I got 9, and I also had one as well which I'd swatched earlier, so technically I had 10 in total. And I think I'm only going to end up using 7. I know I'm being annoying in like showing you acquisitions, I'm sorry, but I just want to show you the buttons with the fabric because they're really, really lovely. My next work in progress is also the last one I'll be showing you in this video, and that is, I'm going to show you a picture because I literally just have this teeny tiny amount of ribbing, but I'm making the Hawthorn tank, which is by Caitlin Hunter, otherwise known as boylandknitworks, and it's just this lovely lacy summer top. And I had some Knitting for Olive pure silk in stash, which was amazing because I've got just enough to make the top, and I'm making it up in the colour Putty. So it's this lovely sort of off-white to grey colour, and I think this is just going to be really beautiful in that lace silhouette running down the front of the top. I'm going to start my acquisitions now. Okay, so first up I have something really, really lovely that I did get at Woolly Good Gathering, and I'm so happy I got it because I'm referring to it as an investment, and that is my redesign bag. Now this is the Project 10. I got it from Little Great Girl's stall. She had a few redesigns in stock and they were on display on her stall, and I sort of saw them and I made a beeline for them because I wanted to have a look at them because I saw this gorgeous reddish colour. So this is the dark cherry, and she had one on display, but she also had one wrapped up on a lower level, and I did ask for the one that was wrapped up, and it was great. I got it. I wasn't expecting to spend this much money on a project bag, let me just put that out there. It was very impulsive, and I saw it and I thought, let's just go for it. It was in my budget in regards to I hadn't planned on getting very much yarn at the show, which in the end I didn't really, and so it wasn't too naughty, but very, very happy with it. I would open it, but it's full of many things and all my like works in progress are in here, and everything's just going to fall out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link for redesign and to Little Grey Girl, who I was very happy had them on display, because now I have one, which is amazing. And I'm going to put all the details below so you can check out the Project 10. Next up I have the yarn that I brought at the show, and you all know I went to Zakami's stall first. First visit I went to Zakami's stall and I got some really gorgeous yarns. So first up I have these, which are, they are undyed 100% organic fine merino in a fingering weight. They're non-superwash and it comes in at 100 grams at 400 meters. So I got two, and I've actually got a plan for these because I was buying with patterns in mind. I'm going to be making the Lunity by Midsummer Knits. I'm just going to pop in a picture so you can see it, and yeah, I'm really excited. I've got this gorgeous sort of off-white cream colour and I just love it. They had a lot of undyed at Zakami's store, which was really interesting because you don't really see it a lot at shows. You do see it at some, but although I absolutely adore colour in every single way, it was really nice to have this sort of fresh palette and just have these really neutral colours, and to see as well the colours that you can get from the sheep and the alpacas and everything like that, and the actual colour it just is before anything goes onto it. And so I went with these, and just a really great price, of course, without being dyed. They were a little bit less money, and that was amazing because I was going to need at least two for the tea, so very happy with those. The second thing I got from Zakami is this, which is this absolutely gorgeous dark yarn. Like I said, I'm loving this sort of grey to black colour. So this is 100% non-superwash fine merino fingering weight, again 400 meters at 100 grams, and this is the colour Velvet, and it is, when my camera loads, it's this just gorgeous black to blue sort of colour. It was amazing actually at the show. I thought it was a dark navy, but then when I got it home I was like, it's black. So it's weird, you know, how lighting can affect colours. This is certainly going to be one of those yarns where every now and then I look at it and it's changed, it's like a different sort of shade. But yeah, so this is going to be for socks, and yeah, I just really liked those. Hi, so it's the next day and I'm gonna finish the rest of my acquisitions. I just had some background noise on my footage yesterday, so I wanted to redo it so that everything was clear. And yeah, so I'm just gonna get on with the last of the acquisitions. And first up I have this lovely blue yarn by Fufu Yarn, and this is in the colourway Qinghua. It is 80% superwash merino wool and 20% nylon. It's a fingering weight, 400 meters at 100 grams. And this is just so beautiful. I actually did a little bit of research before I went to the show, and I checked out all the vendors. I like to do a little bit of homework before I go to a yarn show so I know what's going to be there. And I saw this yarn on, I think it's Fufu Yarn's Instagram, and I was like, oh god, I love that colour, and I was so lucky that there was one left and I managed to get one. And we just had a lovely conversation, and I asked how to pronounce the colourway because I wanted to get it right, obviously, when I do this video and just generally. And it was amazing. She explained to me what it actually is, and it's the Chinese blue and white porcelain that's just so famous. And I was like, lovely, and I thought that was so beautiful for a colourway, and so I think I'm going to make some lovely socks with this gorgeous blue yarn. And yeah, I wanted to highlight as well the part of the show that this vendor was a part of, because they were a part of the pop-ups, and Woolly Good Gathering had a new section for this year which was new for 2026. I'm going to read it out of the programme. So the pop-ups offer an opportunity for vendors at the Woolly Good Gathering, for farmers who are busy with lambing, yarn producers with a small wool clip, vendors with low stock levels or who want to pop over on public transport, those with chronic illnesses who need to pace energies, or folks who simply want a shorter time commitment, we got you. And I thought that was absolutely brilliant. I think it's something all yarn shows could include. Like, there's this smaller section where you have quite like a handful of businesses where they've just got that small stock to show or to exhibit, and I thought it was brilliant. They actually managed to fit in so many because, as you can see in the programme, they did 2 sets a day. So there was Friday morning, Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, and then Saturday afternoon. And I was really lucky that I got to catch the ones on Saturday. Unfortunately, due to me volunteering on the Friday, I wasn't able to see the Friday ones. But again, I thought that was just a lovely sort of element of the show that was new and different, and yeah, I just loved it. And of course I got to see these new emerging artists and just a different side of businesses in the same cut community and world that we have in like the yarn community. So that was really fun and exciting, and it's really nice. I'm hoping to see these businesses really flourish and go on to be like full-time vendors. My next and last acquisition is, they're 2 different things but therefore the same thing. So I was very lucky to have quite a bit of time when I was volunteering in the classroom which had Jamieson's Shetland Spindrift in, which was really cool because I got a good look at all the colours before I did my shopping on Saturday. So I have a few different colours. I got 4 in the colour natural white. Come on. 4 in the colour natural white, and then I got 2 in lavender and 2 in this gorgeous red, which is scarlet. Why does nothing want to load today? Just absolutely gorgeous red, and then there's the lavender as well. So why did I get these? So as we know, Jamieson has a specialisation with the small quantity that you can buy for colour work, and I'm actually going to be thinking about making some mittens this year. I'm not doing them anytime soon. They're probably going to come around when it gets autumn and it gets a little bit colder, but I did say to myself that I want to buy some yarn for some mittens, and of course I knew Jamieson's were going to be there, and it was just the perfect opportunity to get a real good look at all those beautiful colours that they have in stock. And I was able to get some for my mitten journey, as well as this unusual looking thing. Now this is a mitten blocker, which a friend of mine when we were shopping on Saturday actually spotted them and said, oh my god, they have like blockers for mittens, like do you want to get one? And I just thought, do you know what, why not? Let's just get everything I need so I'm totally prepared for when the time comes. And they're these lovely wooden ones which have these really interesting cut out pattern on them. It even comes with like inserts for the thumbs, which I thought was brilliant. And I got the small size, but I'll be honest, like I even think the small is actually too big for my teeny tiny hands, but we'll see how I got on. And it's just nice to know that I've got everything there. It's so nice when you feel more prepared and you have all the tools that you need. So these are by Askis Bird, glove and mitten blockers, but I actually got them on Emily Mull's stall. So they're those. And the only other thing that I do have to say is, of course, summer is edging closer and closer, and I'm already experiencing the very warm weather. So I will say I am really looking forward to my summer projects. I'm thinking I might do a video to sort of narrow down all the things that I'm thinking about making. I've got some summer tops in mind, and I've got some gorgeous summer yarns in stash that I want to get used up, which is going to be really great to clear that space. And it's always nice to find a project when you already have the materials at hand. So I was thinking about something like that. But also I said to myself at the beginning of this year that I would love to do more, or actually to learn sewing. I keep buying fabric and I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's gonna like make me do it. It isn't. I need to actually commit. So I've been looking at classes in my local area, but what I wanted to ask you lovely people is, what sewing recommendations do you have? Like beginner patterns or fabric companies that you like? Let me know what you think may be a good start for me. So I'm just starting out, I don't know very much. I do have a machine, but other than that I'm just gonna have to start learning from scratch basically. So any tips would be very much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm Rebecca Louise of Rebecca Louise Knits, and you've been watching the RLK podcast. If you are enjoying the warmer weather in the UK like I am, remember to stay hydrated and remember your sunscreen, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye. See you next time.